Hello, this is Man in Hat Diaries, and this is part 2 of my critique on the videos to do with the unfortunate incident of Zara Aleena. Okay, so watch this video and I'll let you know what I think.
On the spot where Zara Aleena was attacked, hundreds of her friends, family and neighbours gathered to remember her and to walk her home.
Why am I here? Because I just want to show my respect and just hold Zara, in my heart.
Led by Zara's family, the crowd set off at 2:17, the time in the early hours of last Sunday morning when the 35-year-old was attacked. Their silent walk sending a deafening message that violence against women must end.
Let us stop saying the same thing. Actions, actions. Be kind, teach kindness. Teach people not to abuse people.
An incident like this, they don't make you feel safe. No, you're out of the blue, it comes like this and, you are unsafe.
Does it make you afraid to go out?
Yes, it does.
Zara was an aspiring lawyer and had been coming home after a night out. A 29-year-old man, Jordan McSweeney, has been charged with her murder. This walk from where Zara was attacked to her front door takes just 10 minutes, and it's a long street she knew well and felt safe in. But the fact she never made it is a sign for many here and elsewhere that society desperately needs to change. Away from the vigil, London's mayor echoed the call for action.
Too many women and girls can't go about our country at the time of day they want to go about. They're imposing curfews on themselves because it's not safe to go about our country. That's why it's really important us men and boys have a look at our own behaviour in relation to misogyny, sexism and violence to finally end the violence that exists against women and girls.
Thank you so much for being here today.
At the end of the walk, Zara's aunt addressed the crowd.
This is our Zara. This is our issue. This is something that we must all change. It must never happen again.
Well, the second video was a report from Sky News. And I noticed the reporter mentioned violence against women must stop. Now, this is an interesting slogan, but when I hear it, it makes me feel that the violence against men either doesn't happen or is somehow not important. The thing about that is, I feel there might be missing something quite important here which could actually help women as much as it would help men. I mean, we have two eyes for a reason, so that we can actually judge distance a lot better compared to having one eye. And I think if we ignore one part of the problem, which is attacks on men by men for attacks on women by men, then we're kind of missing something quite important that could help us solve this problem. Because there's a common denominator in all of this. They all come from the same place. And what's happening is, in both situations, you've got an imbalance within a particular man at a particular time. And he's acting out whatever's going wrong inside him, whether he's attacking another man or he's attacking a woman. He's acting out some kind of imbalance. But when things like this happen, they happen quite quickly. And therefore, you see things happening quite quickly on TV. There's a quick emotional response, and there's often a knee-jerk reaction, which is often a call for more legislation, more statute law, more legal things which mean more men behind bars, I guess. But even if we actually do put more men behind bars, surely there's going to be more men that follow that path anyway, if they're all coming from the same place. So I'm thinking it's probably better that we find the cause of these problems and try to solve them rather than just sticking more people behind bars. Wouldn't that be a better solution? Another thing I realised in this video is when a woman was talking, a woman that happened to be from the Black Women's Project in London. I believe her name is Arjun Moaj. And she said something quite interesting. She said, be kind. Teach people not to be, or not to teach people not to abuse people. And I think that's quite interesting what she said there, because she didn't mention any particular gender. She didn't mention men or women. She just mentioned people. And I'm not religious at all, right? But one thing I do know about Christians is they always say, we are all sinners. And when they say we are all sinners, they don't say men are all sinners or women are all sinners. They say we are all sinners. Pretty similar to what she says there. And for me, what that means is there's something that we all do, or there's something we all don't do. That could be the things we say, the things we don't say when we should be saying something. It could be the things we wear that we shouldn't wear. It could be the things that we say to people that we shouldn't say. It could be the things that we do that we shouldn't do. But there's something that we all do or don't do from one time or another that affects somebody else in a negative way. Therefore, we're all sinners. I just wonder if we've somehow individually found a way to balance ourselves out somehow, so we were having less negative effect on each other. Would that help? These are the kind of things I go into in my book in quite a bit of detail, but quite easy to understand as well. And another thing, Sadiq Khan came into the video. Somebody interviewed Sadiq Khan and asked him what he thought. Not exactly sure why, but anyway. The funny thing is, he does say something about us men having to look at ourselves to stop the misogyny and the sexism. But again, Sadiq Khan is not talking about any support systems for men, for boys, for young adults. The thing about men is, whether they're boys, young adults, fully grown men, they all have something in common. Very few of them actually talk about their problems. Have you noticed? They don't talk about their problems. If you don't talk about your problems, you keep them inside. They're not going to remain hidden forever. These problems come out somehow, in some way. And I think we need to all understand that. If Sadiq Khan doesn't understand that, then I just wonder. I wonder about Sadiq Khan and what he actually really knows about life. There has to be a support system for everybody, for everyone to be able to handle the pressure of responsibility. That's responsibility to oneself, that's responsibility to others around you. But there has to be some kind of support system. So again, that's something we need to look into there. And lastly, Zara's aunt. I feel for her. I understand, how terrible she must be feeling. She says something about all this must stop and it must stop now. The thing is, the problem is, when you think about this clearly, I think we all know it's not going to stop right now. It's going to carry on. There's no short-term fix to this, guys. There is not a short-term fix to this. If you want to actually solve the problem, It's going to take a long-term solution. If we think the law can actually do anything about this, they really can't. They can put more people behind bars, but that's not going to solve the fundamentals of the problem. It's not going to solve or figure out where these problems are coming from. It's not going to do that. The law can't solve it. Politicians can't solve it. Sadiq Khan definitely cannot solve it because he doesn't understand what's going on. The only thing that can solve this is each and every one individual, each of us. If we can find a balance, again, which is something I go on about in my book, because this is a spiritual problem. Spiritual meaning one of balance. If we can find a balance within ourselves, that balance will spread to others. Eventually, it's problem solved. But that takes time. So I'll just remind you what my book is. It's Rape, A Man's Point of View, and you can see it on Kindle. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.